and privileged we are as the Secretariat of the Senate to continue to serve the Liaison Committee and the other committees of the Senate. We are grateful for the direction and support that we continue to receive from the Liaison Committee, which has kept us in check and ensured that we continue to diligently execute our functions. We pledge to the Liaison Committee and to all chairpersons of committees the renewed and continued support of the multidisciplinary Secretariat of the Senate to all committees as they continue to discharge their functions. I wish all participants successful deliberations at this retreat, and as the Secretariat, we remain available to offer any assistance that may be required. I thank you.
Thank you very much, DC. That was a very important message for all of us. I, in the interest of time, will ask Senator Mondago, who is the host senator, to also make a few remarks as the host senator. Karibu, Jackman.
Your Excellency, the Prime Cabinet Secretary, Honorable Mudavadi, Honorable Deputy Speaker, who is also the Chair of the Liaison Committee and the Senator for Meru, our Majority Leader in the Senate, Senator Haron Cheruiyot, and Senator for Kericho, our Minority Leader, Retired Justice Stewart Mazayo, and also the Senator for Kilifi, my colleague, Senators, our distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. First, let me take this opportunity to welcome all of you, Your Excellency, to the great county of Uasin Gishu, the city of champions. And I agree with Honorable Sigei that the interpretation in Swahili might vary, but the only true Kamusi will be Stewart Masayo to tell us whether is right in those two interpretations, and take this opportunity to welcome all our guests who are participating in this very important retreat of the Liaison Committee. On my behalf and the people of Uasin Gishu County and the leadership of this county, we want to welcome all of you to this retreat, and for the number of days you will be here, we want to wish you well and hope you will enjoy the ambience of our city and our county. Let me also take this opportunity, Your Excellency, to welcome you to this great county in your capacity as a Prime Cabinet Secretary and Coordinator of government state departments, to say as a county, Your Excellency, we do appreciate what national government has done. First, as the granary and the basket of Kenya, our farmers benefited from the government programs of subsidized fertilizer, and I'm also happy to report that top dressing fertilizer has also been distributed. So as you go back to Nairobi, Your Excellency, we just want to let you know that the government programs have also reached here. And to all the delegations that have come, the Controller of Budget, the County Assemblies Forum, the Council of Governors, we also welcome you so that we can have deliberations and discuss how we can all synergize together to make sure that devolution continue to succeed. Your Excellency, this county, in terms of devolution, we want to say we have seen the difference devolution has made in service delivery, and we all do support the programs that are being run through enabling legislation in the Senate so that our counties can be able to do their work. As I also welcome you, knowing very well that this is the city of champions, I expect that everybody, every morning, will find time to do a minimum of 5-kilometer race. It is recommended for your health. That is not for championship. We are only recommending that for your good health, at least 5 kilometers every day in the morning. And I can assure you that if you dare do 5 kilometers anywhere to any direction in this city, you will be privileged and lucky to jog alongside at least a champion. You cannot miss in the morning. You will find them all over. And I know not all of us have met our champions in athletics. It is also a good opportunity. And they are a rare gem to find. So please take advantage of that when you are in this city to also exercise in the morning. We do encourage that. With those a few remarks, I don't want to say more than that, but I want to say you are all welcome. I believe we are going to have a session to interact and even discuss on the issues that affect devolution from the point of view from the Senate, from the control of budget, from CAV, and finally how we can all work together in collaboration to make sure that devolution continue to succeed and improve and move to greater heights. Thank you very much.
Give him a better clap.
Give Senator Madaga a better clap. That way, we will be encouraging the next speaker to speak well and also feel welcome. Now, nataka kuchukua fursa huu kumwalika kiongozi ya walio wachache, Mheshimiwa Senator Madzayo, ambaye pia alikuwa jaji wakati mwingine. Karibu sana Senator Madzayo, ili utuhutubie, tusikize na ututafsirie vile Senator Madago amesema mambo ya champions na hiyo ingine. Karibu sana.
Asante ndugu yangu wakili, naweza kukupatia marks kwamba umepita Kiswahili. His Excellency the Prime Cabinet Secretary, Honorable Mudavadi, the Minority Leader, my brother Aaron Cheriot, the Chairman of the Liaison Committee, our Deputy Speaker, Murugi, my fellow colleagues in the Senate, that is the Chairman of all the committees, ladies and gentlemen, habari ya asubuhi. It is a pleasure to be here today to meet and interact with you as we discuss and deliberate ways we can build synergy and explore interlinkages for effective and efficient operations of committees. Committees are the bedrock of the House business, as you are aware. In this third session, there have been considerable achievements. As Pablo Picasso would say, for every positive, there is a negative. We have a perennial challenge of raising quorum in all committees with a culture of members signing in and leaving, which unfortunately includes you, the chairs. Furthermore, members are part of almost 4 committees, and it is quite unfortunate that some of the committee meetings are usually slated to begin at the same time, forcing members to dash from one committee meeting to another without contributing much to the discussions. It is unfortunate, and without the required numbers of members present, the decisions made, sometimes they are not considered legitimate. I would like to urge chairpersons to mitigate this by setting clear rules for quorum and liaising with the clerk to recommend convenient timings for members to enable them attend all their committee meetings. Maybe I'd like to congratulate the chairman of the Committee for Roads. Sometimes he calls meetings at 7 o'clock in the morning, just to avoid this kind of confusion of committees mixing their time. Following the devolution In 2013, lives of Kenyans have been transformed through numerous progress and development projects initiated by county governments and increased employment opportunities. Recently, the committee members of the Finance and National Planning in the National Assembly proposed 391.117 billion shillings, whereas the Senate proposed 415.952 billion shillings to the county governments. I want to congratulate our mediation committee from the Senate, who managed to have the county government's equitable share increased to 400.1 billion shillings for the financial year 2024-2025. Senators are playing their part in advocating for increased resources. Nevertheless, governors should be aware that this is taxpayers' money and it is meant for development of counties and not for their frivolous activities, huge wage bills, and unnecessary international trips. Recently also, we have seen KEMSA, the CEO, has expressed the frustration of the authority in transacting the sale of medical supplies with the county governments. It is quite a shame that the 47 counties owe the authority over 2.8 billion shillings. And what is even worse is that my county, Kilifi County, is at the top of the list. It is leading in defaulters, in the list of defaulters, with an outstanding debt of 275 million shillings. How do we accumulate such debts when what is received in the counties is sufficient to enable payment of bills and development of the counties? I want to ask and urge our Prime Cabinet Secretary, please, if you can talk to these governors, particularly the COG, that's the Council of Governors, to pay the outstanding KEMSA bills, dates, so that the counties can receive their medical supplies as a matter of urgency. People are suffering in the counties. There should not be any excuses whatsoever on why the county governments cannot pay debts they owe to KEMSA. Finally, I want to conclude by saying this, that I believe this retreat will enable the committee chairmen and the members, when undertaking their functions, fulfill their constitutional and statutory obligations, hence strengthening the efficiency. This meeting will lead to increased visibility of committees, hard work build, and manage key relationships. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator Munzayo, for your brief remarks. I now want to take this opportunity to welcome the Majority Leader and Senator for the Great County of Kericho, Senator Aaron Cheriot, to give us his brief comments as we progress. Welcome, Majority Leader.
Thank you, Senator Sigay, Prime Cabinet Secretary. Your Excellency, welcome to this session today with the Senate Liaison Committee. Deputy Speaker and colleague leaders, leadership of the Senate, and all the people that have joined us today, including our siblings from County Assemblies Forum, who have found time to join this session today. I greet you all good morning. Well, Your Excellency, sir, it's a great pleasure to see you here. Many times we've had these sessions of the Senate, and when we have sent out invitations to the executive, sometimes they go unanswered. Therefore, we don't take your coming and you're choosing to interact with our chairpersons of the various committees of the Senate for granted. This is an important step that you have taken that will enhance and build synergy between our various committees and that of the executive, because I know for a fact that part of your key mandate is to coordinate the activities of the various ministries within government. And therefore, as you interact with our chairpersons today, who deal on a daily basis with all the state agencies, county governments as well, that this will be an important session with you. And I know that during the interactive plenary session that we'll have with you, you'll hear from my colleagues, senators who are here, on the various challenges that they encounter in their interaction with the executive and the various cabinet secretaries, their PCS, and leaders of the various MDAs. And I'm sure at the end of the session, by the time you leave, we will have agreed on a way forward on how to address those challenges for effective understanding and approach to issues that are mutually benefiting to both institutions, that is the executive and us in the legislature. So I thank you for coming. Colleague chairpersons, I appreciate also the invitation to join the Liaison Committee. As you had been informed earlier, Your Excellency, the Minority Leader and myself are not members of this committee, but our colleagues felt that it would be important for us as a leadership of the House to come and listen in on the discussion, get to interact with them. I guess there are a few things in-house as well, which later in the day or in the course of the program this week, they'll find time to share with us and find where we can improve on. Because as has been observed by other speakers who have come ahead of me, the leadership of a committee determines either how effective that committee becomes or ineffective. As it has been previously observed, in all matters leadership, it is what makes it rise or fall. Therefore, this is a very, very important gathering. I can confirm that from my side as a leader in the House, I take the word from the chairpersons of the committees very seriously. When a committee chairpersons walk up to me and insist on a particular matter that this is a view of the committee, then I hold the view that the word of the committee should stand. In fact, in consideration of your business, rarely, and I think it has only happened maybe once or twice, where the House on our side as a majority has disagreed with the committee on certain recommendations, be it on consideration of bills, if there are amendments they are proposing to the House, or a report that they wish to be considered. Rarely, more often than not, in fact 90 to 95% of the time, we agree to be bound by the consideration or by the guidance of the committee. Therefore, committee chairpersons, I wish to encourage you to continue doing your work diligently, serving us as a Senate, because your committees were well thought out. At the end of each year, or each actually term of the Senate, and now we've had two ends of term, the Senate does an exit report and we review as leadership which committees have been effective, what do you keep, what does it require change, and all those matters. And therefore, it is not out of lack of what to do that we propose that we have your various committees. It's important, and we sat down, looked at the Constitution and felt that it is important for Senate to have a committee on national cohesion, a committee on devolution, a committee on health, Public Investments Committee, and all the committee chairpersons that I see here. Therefore, we look up to you to guide the House in considering matters that are relevant to your committee in making a decision. I have only maybe one or two things to say to our chairpersons, that perhaps at the end of this session, we will be awaiting your resolutions on what you expect of us as a leadership. Because later on during the plenary session when we interact, we will share from the leadership perspective what is it that we feel as a leadership of the committees you should improve on. And we'll be looking forward to hear from you as well what you think that we can do better. Therefore, I want to appreciate this opportunity to interact with you as the chairpersons and to urge you that you continue working even the more diligently. I appreciate that committees of the Senate have over time gotten better at their work. And of course, having served as a committee member for many years, I can say as well that a committee is as good as the clerk and the technical team that you have, the legal person and all the officers that work together with you. If you are lucky as a chairperson to have a diligent clerk who goes out, finds out information relevant to your committee and leads the committee to making certain decisions or taking certain positions, especially on issues of national concern, then that committee takes the lead even to the country. Many times people will want to know what is the position of committee XYZ on this particular issue. And if you populate the public space with information from your committee, then you're becoming relevant by the day. Therefore, I want to urge our technical our technical members of the Senate committees that are here, the clerks, the legal persons, the fiscal analysts, all of you that are here, that your work is equally as good. There are committee clerks, and forgive me, Prime Cabinet Secretary, for saying this because this is internal information that should only be shared among us ourselves, but there are technical staff that when you get as a committee chair, then you know that 70% of your work is already done because they are extremely diligent in their work and they guide you as a committee. So I'd wish that we carry on with that spirit and ensure that we deliver for the people of Kenya, such that if there is something, and I'll pick maybe, let's say even Senator Mandago here, is a chairperson of health. There are many health-related issues that continue to challenge us as a devolution family. It will be great injustice, Senator Mandago, if at the end of your term, and especially having had the opportunity to serve as a governor and now as a senator, if you don't help us resolve this issue of standardization of services and how doctors are treated across all the 47 counties. It's a topic that keeps recurring in every doctor strike from as way back as 2013 up to now. With your experience as a committee, I'm sure you can lead us as a house into making a good decision that will stabilize the health services in our 47 counties. So it goes beyond the call of duty as a committee just to consider statements and perhaps a bill or the other, but a broad policy issue that will affect all the 47 counties. And the same can be said in almost every sector, you know, of all the things that you are doing. Therefore, I don't intend to be long because this was not my session. My duty was to open only with brief remarks. I believe later on when we have our session, perhaps later in the day or in the afternoon, we will interact and share many other things that we need to do. I appreciate your coming. I want to appreciate the offices that are here, the Office of the Controller of Budget. Good to finally meet the leadership there. I have written, I think once or twice, to your office, Madam, and unfortunately, I'm yet to receive a reply, and I'm glad that you're here today. Maybe you have carried your reply with you so that I get it in an instance. I hold the strong view that it is not enough in the third cycle of devolution, having the third cycle of governors and senators, for us to receive quarterly performance reports, how much went to this county, what has been done. The issues that senators continue to raise on pending bills in our counties. As a good senator, for me not to be considered to be carrying out witch hunt on my governor, I need to know what is the increase on pending bills, for example, from their term of coming into office and now. How much is the deviation on the statutory 30% on devolution vis-a-vis recurrent spend? And such reports, much as our health, our team at Parliamentary Budget Office can give us those reports, they'll be more effective and more accurate if we get them from the Office of the Controller of Budget. Therefore, I look forward to a more interactive session with you so that the chairpersons can perhaps share their insight as well, so that we work together, because the Office of the Controller of Budget is an important office for which the success or failure of devolution greatly hinges on. With those many remarks, I want to say thank you, welcome to all of you. May I now take this opportunity to invite the Deputy Speaker, Honorable Kathuri Murungi, to address this gathering. Deputy Speaker, hands please.
Makofi tena kwa kiongozi walio wengi. Ingine ya mwisho. Thank you very much indeed. The Prime Cabinet Secretary, His Excellency Musalia Mudavadi, the Chair Majority Leader, Honorable Aaron Cheruiyot, and the Minority Leader, Senator Justice retired Stewart Mazayo, chairpersons of all the committees, the Principal Secretary. Is she around? Devolution? She is around, eh? Okay, okay. Then the Controller of Budget. Karibu sana. The Chairperson, County Assemblies Forum, my friend, Mr. Philemon Subulei, Mr. Kirago, the Chairperson, Intergovernmental Relations, and don't know if I have left any other important person in this house, because I'm selecting those who have arrived already. So I really want to thank you for coming, starting with His Excellency, the Prime Cabinet Secretary. Actually, the shortest name to give him is the Prime Minister. It's only that you have not reviewed our Constitution to give you that position. So I want to get this great pressure to join and participate with you in this retreat. And as we have been told from the airport, this is the city of champions. But the town of heroes is in Meru, Mr. Sigei, Honorable Sigei. Heroes are in Meru, champions are in Uasin, Gishu. So if you want to see heroes, you go to Meru. Even Mau Mau and all these guys are from Meru. And by extension, I can donate to Nyeri County. Those are the areas with heroes. I don't want to follow this long speech which I was given by my team, but let me say that this retreat is a very unique one, because it gives us a consultative forum with the key independent governance, financial control, and accountability institutions, whose mandate cut across our two tiers of government. That is why the majority leader is happy when he saw the control of budget, because, and also we also expecting the Auditor General also to join us, because those two institutions are very, very important to the Senate, because we cannot be able to monitor what is going on in the counties without those two institutions working hand in hand with us, and trying also to tell us the key areas where we should. You know, the director, is it deputy director? The control of budget, you know, you are taller than us, so I'm not able to engage her. So I request you change seats or you move so that we can be able to interact. Yeah. Because I remember in this session, we had a discussion with the Speaker of the Senate. and the issue was about the reports that come from the control of budget. And we felt that actually we need almost monthly reports if it will be possible. We want to do very disciplined oversight, not witch hunt. So with the information, you can be able to tell your governor, this is the position as at this month. You know, if you want to craft for me, just do it nicely. Yes. We want to do very professional oversight. You know, when we talk about oversight in the counties, the governors think we're interested in their seats, the next elections. But when we give facts and figures, they will have nowhere to learn to. Because we should tell them, this month you have paid so and so, you have primed for money to pay so and so companies who supplied. And this is the risk which you give the control of budget. But when the control of budget asks for the people who have been paid, they want to change the list and pay their friends, you know? Yeah, they got the list, they pay some other companies. That is what some point the control of budget and requested that she should be able to monitor the accounts. And I don't know which majority or minority, which law we should change in the Senate to allow the control of budget also to monitor what is happening. You know, when she proposed that, she was almost fought physically by the governor's COG because they don't want to be monitored, the accounts, they don't want to be seen what is happening there. Don't mind the control of budget. I'm not on your case, but I'm happy that we'll have a session that we can interact with you. For the benefit of that bit, the deputy clerk, because I saw a presentation is tomorrow. I don't know, you can change it to today afternoon before the majority leader leaves, because he has some serious engagements tomorrow. So you see how you can change a bit so that you can be able to interact with that today. Honorable Senators, our committees have really performed so well. And I want to give a bit briefly some observations from my desk, overall performance of our Senate committees. And generally, committees have recorded marked increase in generation of business by senators through requests for statements, petitions, and private members' bills. There is positive impact also in processing of bills due to co-sponsoring of bills between members of the National Assembly and the Senate. Actually, from where we stand, we have realized that when a bill is co-sponsored, if you have a bill from the Senate, and you have somebody else in the Senate, another member in the National Assembly, to co-sponsor the bill with, these bills have learned so fast. But the bills which are individually sponsored, they get stuck at the National Assembly. But when you get somebody there, you can sponsor the bill with. That method is working, and I really encourage members of the Senate and also from the other side to use that route, which is giving us more fruits and fast. Also, there is a great measure. Committees have experienced minimal. The majority leader, you know, from my desk, chairs have modified on how to operate in their committees so that they can overcome that challenge you mentioned of quorum meetings. That is why you send the chair transport meets at 9 a.m. There is this chair justice and legal affairs. He meets around very early also, 8 a.m., even on Mondays, even on Fridays. So these chairs have really come up with some modern ways of meeting their committees. So I don't want as the chair to condemn them because of the quorum meetings, but chairs, it is your responsibility to know how you run your committee, how you treat your team. You know, sometimes chairs are called, if you want to see how committee is good performing, you look at the chair. If the committee is not performing, the chairs are a bit not so impactful. But for all the chairs in the Liaison, this Senate, I want to give you a clean A. because you have really conducted your committees in a very organized way. I also want to thank the Secretariat, the directors of the committees, the clerk and his deputies, and the entire Secretariat. Because for sure, I think where we are, the last Senate, which I was not a member, which Senator Maza was a member, the majority leader was a member, I think we have really overtaken that Senate, isn't it? Chairs, we have already overtaken you. Because where we are today, I think we have produced more views, majority leader can agree with me, than the last Senate. I'm happy because today, you know, the cabinet minister, we changed our standing orders to allow cabinet secretaries to appear to the Senate. We have some things to tell you. I don't know, maybe in camera, I don't know how we'll be able to tell you those issues, our experience with the cabinet secretaries. Since you are their team leader, during plenary, we'll be able to discuss that with you, but you will seek some advice whether we do it in camera, maybe 10 minutes, or because you know some of these things should not go to every year, because also since tunachunga serikali. So we don't want also to see how we'll be able to discuss with you during plenary. So I don't want to give you any comment now. On the 29th of May, as you put it, both the minority leader put it, pursuant to Article 113(2) of the Constitution and standing order 167(3), the Senate of Kenya approved the mediated version of the Division of Revenue Bill, which increased the county equitable share from 391 billion, which was proposed by the National Assembly, to 400 billion. Senate then proposed 415 billion. But during the mediation, we went up to 400 billion. The minority leader came to that committee, the mediation committee from the Senate. So this room, you should know that that mediation committee was led by Senator Kaburi Murungi and Senator Chute, Senator Mandago, and Senator Mandago. So I request you give a warm crowd. And Senator Kajwang, yes, Senator Kajwang was also a member. So that team was able to raise the Division of Revenue Bill from 391, which was proposed, to 400 billion. So we increased monies going to the counties from 385 billion the last financial year to 400 billion. That is, we gave 15 billion more to the counties. How I wish the chair, COG, or the representative is here, because we want to lend a riot act to the COG and the governors. We have increased money to them. Whoever much is given, much is expected. We have increased their money by 15 billion. So we wanted to see Kenyans get service. And the Senate will be very, very little this time. I'm happy the chairman, County Public Accounts Committee is here, and he will give us his opinion on the performance of the counties. So our two committees, led by CPAC, by Senator Kajwang, County Public Investments Committee, led by Senator Sosi. We request that you bring these audited accounts to the current financial year. Whatever magic you use, I don't know what you do to make sure that we oversight the current governance in the office. When you invite my governor, for example, and then you are maybe examining audited accounts for 2020, 2021, when Ms. Ekireit was the governor, she just come laughing there because she was not the governor then. But when you bring 2022, 23 audited accounts, I will be there seated with you from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. or 6. That is why sometimes when you call me for maybe mail water services, audited accounts for 2020, I don't see any need of coming there, because already the governor has told you wananchi on ground, I was not the governor then. So even when I come and see where we are, I don't think I'll be benefiting from that audit. But if you bring from 2022-23, I'll be attending those sessions from morning to evening. So whatever magic you might use, we'll be very happy that that you come to speed in those audited accounts. To the county assemblies, you know you're in the first tier, Honorable Philemon and the County Assemblies Forum, in the first tier of oversight. You are overseeing the CECs and the departments. So we want to see you, even when the Auditor General brings the reports. Not many counties debate those reports or they examine to see what the Auditor General is saying. And then whether also you receive reports from the Controller of Budget, directly from the Controller of Budget's office, so that also the county assemblies are well briefed on what is happening in those two offices. So I request that also your PAC and PIC and Finance Committee and also budget, you look into that matter and see what should be done. I don't want to add to those remarks, but I want to say that you are most welcome to this consultative forum. This is just a discussion. So after this, during plenaries, let us discuss everything that we think can be able to help our country. The Senate is very committed. My committee is very committed to work, all the committees. SBC, where these gentlemen sit, the leadership, they are ready also to make sure that Kenya gets to another level. Let us leave a legacy. These 5 years we are here, we are around. We don't know where some of us will be after 2027. Some maybe might run for other positions. Others maybe might come back. But I wish, you know, the turnover in the Senate, I don't know it is, the National Assembly, Ikwashinda, the turnover is almost 70%. 70% of the members of the National Assembly, after elections, they are swept. But I don't know the statistics in the Senate, Senator Mazayo, but most of the senators don't go back to the Senate. Maybe they try some other positions. So those will be back. I wish you well, those who will be contesting. Those who will go to the governance, I wish you the best.
It's 3 years away.
Yeah, I can see now those two, you have already declared your interest where you are going. So even me, if God talks to me that I should go to the governor position or to the president, you also wish me well. Because there are other positions. Besides the governor, there is also the president. The deputy president, you cannot run as a deputy president, but you can run as a president. So one day I might even decide to join and ask the prime cabinet secretary to be my running mate from Western and then myself from the mountain. Yeah? So that we win the presidency. So with all these remarks, thank you very much. Is it the time to invite the Prime Cabinet Secretary? Yes. Karibu sana Prime Cabinet Secretary. Makofi ya PCS. Upstanding so that also you can rest a bit. Karibu sana Waziri Mkuu. Utabadilisha sheria usijali.
Asante sana Bwana Speaker. Okay, please be seated. The Honorable Senator Kathuri Murungi, Deputy Speaker of the Senate and Chairperson of the Senate Liaison Committee, Senator Aaron Cheriot, Senate Majority Leader, Senator Justice Stuart Mazayo, Senate Minority Leader, Chairs and members of the Senate committees, the Clerk of the Senate, who is represented by his officers today, the representative of the Council of Governors, my friend Kithinji Kirago, I've seen you there. Let me also acknowledge the chairperson of the County Assembly's Forum, the Office of the Auditor General, the Controller of Budget, Madam Margaret Nyakango, all participants present, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Hamjambo. I'll make a few formal remarks, short, and then maybe towards the end, nitaongeza yangu kidogo. But I do agree with the Speaker of the Deputy Speaker of the Senate that at the plenary, maybe that would be a good moment to go into camera, because maybe I may be one of the culprits of the potential discussion that will arise. And as you know, when you are here, somebody might argue that you didn't speak on the floor of the House. So he might rush to court and say something. But I suppose the immunity, the privileges still follow you up to here. Okay, so let me make my remarks. Oh, by the way, let me also explain that Madam Rono would have been here, but she's represented by Mr. Nick Biketi, the Secretary for Parliamentary Affairs in her department. She is entangled in another meeting on matters to do with the budget, so she was not able to come. But she has been a very ardent champion in terms of fostering good relations between Parliament and the Executive. So I am delighted to join you today for this Senate Liaison Committee retreat, and that focuses on the important theme of building synergies and exploring interlinkages for effective and efficient operations of Senate committees. Let me appreciate the leadership and members of the Senate, led by the Deputy Speaker, Kathuri Murungi, who is also the chair of the Senate Liaison Committee, for convening this important retreat. I also acknowledge Gishu County Senator Jackson Mandago, who is hosting us in this beautiful breadbasket of the county that is also the home of our international athletes champions. You call them Mabingwa, is it Bingwa? Not Mashujaa. But I suppose a Bingwa eventually mutates into a Shujaa. We are gathered here to discuss how the executive and legislature can enhance their relations, creating an enabling environment for the Senate and its committees to deliver on the promise of enhancing service delivery to Kenyans at all levels. It is a worthy and timely occasion to assess the strides we have made and explore ways of cementing the interlinkages between these two arms of government. Honorable members, ladies and gentlemen, we are in a new facet of parliamentary business, and the interrelationship between the legislature and the executive is central to the delivery of our government's bottom-up transformation agenda. This does not in any way imply that the two branches of government have not been working together and collaborating on matters of national interest. What is new, though, is the constitutional architecture under which the two arms of government exist, and in particular, the redefined independence of the two arms, the questions and statements framework, and the Constitution of Kenya 2010, and the House standing orders. For the first time in the history of Kenya, we now have a State Department for Parliamentary Affairs under my office that is mandated to coordinate the implementation of the national government's legislative agenda across all ministries and state departments in consultation with and for transmission to the party coalition leadership in Parliament. Our greatest appreciation to His Excellency the President, William Ruto, for establishing this unique structure to promote the institutional linkages between the executive and both houses of Parliament. This state department is not just unique here in Kenya, but among the first of its kind in Africa. Furthermore, the President presented us with an excellent takeoff through the Presidential Memorandum to Parliament dated 9th December 2022. The purpose of the memorandum, as you will recall, was to initiate a collaborative exploration of existing opportunities to enrich Kenya's democratic experience by enhancing institutional capacities, strengthening complementary and inter-relationships, and refining of mandates in order to realize the full appreciation of Kenyans as required in the Constitution. In the memorandum, His Excellency the President urged Parliament to consider implementing mechanisms within the standing orders to facilitate the participation of cabinet secretaries in parliamentary proceedings, particularly by responding to questions raised by senators. This embodied the government's better commitment to promote accountability and openness in the management of public affairs. Let me quote the President. The executive has a vested interest in engaging productively with Parliament because the legislature is the custodian of critical instruments that are indispensable for the functioning of government. There is a profound value in prosecuting the executive's legislature agenda and elaborating government policy from the floor of the House as opposed to segmented committee engagements. End of quote. The President observed that the executive participation in parliamentary business improves transparency of public proceedings, thus helping to close the information gap and enhance trust between citizens and government. Subsequently to this memorandum, amendments were introduced to the standing orders of both houses of Parliament. The amended standing orders of the Senate allow cabinet secretaries to appear before the plenary of the House to respond to questions raised by members. The standing orders outline the framework for the parliamentary questions and statements, encompassing response, procedures, timelines, notifications, and consequences for non-appearance. The amendments were followed through by various proactive steps by the Senate aimed at ensuring adequate notice by the executive of upcoming questions. As part of these proactive steps, the clerk of the Senate has been dispatching notices regarding the scheduling of parliamentary questions to respective cabinet secretaries. In addition, Parliament has leveraged on technology through the publication on its website of tentative lists of cabinet secretaries set to address plenary on various questions raised by members. This process has ensured effective communication with the relevant parliamentary liaison officers, a space where the executive has reduced time and space that had hitherto hampered turnaround times in the execution of government business. The importance of parliamentary questioning is paramount in advancing good governance, transparent leadership, and the retention of public trust. This oversight function of Parliament is a cornerstone of democracy, providing a means to hold the executive accountable for its actions and ensuring alignment with legislated business and aspirations of the people of Kenya. A robust oversight of the executive by Parliament is a testament to good governance. Beyond its legislative role, Oversight empowers Parliament to maintain a balance of power and uphold its role as the guardian of the people's interests. I therefore find the rationale that informs the President's call for our complementary interrelationships applicable, not only for plenary business, but also to committee business. Through the liaison of the Executive and Parliament, my office has, amongst other things, rejuvenated the Parliamentary Liaison Service in all the ministries and MDAs, that is ministries, departments, and agencies, to ensure efficient and effective day-to-day dispatch of business mutual to both arms of government. I am pleased to report that through this revitalization and in furtherance to our quest to enrich the interlinkages between these critical arms of government, my office has developed a liaison framework that seeks to anchor and augment the contemporary liaison relationship between the two arms of government. This framework codifies the basic elements of liaison between the officers from both arms of government for effective and efficient operations in the House. The liaison framework has been crafted to forge an efficient coordination mechanism that is paramount in fostering effective relationship between the two arms of government. Once it's fully operationalized, the framework is designed to ensure a seamless relationship in the discharge of government business in Parliament. In building synergies and exploring interlinkages between Senate and committees and the Executive, the Liaison Committee framework provides an effective mechanism to ensure appearances of cabinet secretaries, principal secretaries, and other senior ranks of the Executive. Furthermore, the framework shall provide a clear guideline on timely responses from the Executive with respect to questions or inquiries from standing committees of the Senate. The framework also provides a transparent and accountable follow-up mechanism on the implementation of parliamentary resolutions and national executive undertakings to Parliament. This is informed by the fact that the implementation of parliamentary resolutions and our undertakings as the Executive embody the essence of transparent and open engagements between the two arms of government. It is important to note that MDAs have designated various serving officers as parliamentary liaison officers who have demonstrated selfless and steadfast commitment to timely responsiveness of the MDAs to parliamentary business. In addition to playing a facilitative role in the day-to-day business between Parliament and the Executive, these liaison officers have also demonstrated their crucial role in the day-to-day business within the Executive. I enjoyed the services of these officers when I recently appeared before the Senate Standing Committee on Delegated Legislation, where we had rich engagement regarding the staged expiry of statutory instruments pursuant to Section 21 of the Statutory Instruments Act. Together with the relevant technical officers in the MDAs, the liaison officers have followed up that engagement, been critical in coordinating the identification, audit, and evaluation of statutory instruments critical to their dockets that require urgent intervention. I am aware also that this matter is actively before our courts and judgment is due on 26th of June. We shall await the court's decision and direction to chart the way forward. Additionally, in embracing and recognizing the critical role of technology in improving the turnaround in dispatch of government business, the State Department of Parliamentary Affairs is spearheading the establishment of a legislative agenda tracking information system, in short, LATIS. This technology-driven platform will onboard all MDAs involved in the policy and law formulation processes, and enable an end-to-end tracking and real-time reporting of ongoing policy, legislative formulation and development work. We intend to structure this platform under the Parliamentary Liaison module as a dashboard for assessing the government's responsiveness to parliamentary matters. This will cover the whole spectrum of questions, statements, resolutions, and undertakings to Parliament in the spirit of the whole of government approach. Parliament will be a critical player and partner in aiding the success of these aspects of the system. I am pleased to report that my office, through the State Department of Parliamentary Affairs, has also developed a government legislative agenda schedule that contains a total of 772 initiatives, comprising of 203 policy initiatives, 244 legislative initiatives, 325 statutory instruments. This is the government's legislative agenda for the next 5 years. Now, of course, we are counting down. That is geared to supporting better. It is part of our constitutional democracy for economic and social transformation. We shall be releasing this as a public document in a few days' time. We seek your support to expedite the enactment of these legislative initiatives that shall be submitted to Parliament. Let me conclude by reflecting on what the Chinese see as three sources of power. The first is the sword, the second is gold, and the third is a mirror. Of the three, the mirror is perhaps the most powerful. Today, we are before the mirror of self-reflection on where we are and where we want to go. On my mirror, I see a country focused on ideological debate on how to carefully weave the socio-economic threads that will guarantee us fabrics and garments tailored to fit our various sizes. It is our duty as representatives